back to my channel. My name's Emily and I'm a knitter, crocheter and very occasional sewer. Today's episode is my month-end wrap-up for the months of June and July. It is a double header this month, and that is purely because I did Vlogmas in July last month. There was a lot going on, so I just didn't do a month-end video for June. So here we are, double header. That being said, I don't have a massive amount to show you, but we'll see how we get on. You will know better than I as to the length of the video, but yeah, we'll see how we get on. Before I get stuck in though, how are you all today? I hope that you're all doing well and that you're having a really, really lovely day and a lovely week so far. I am good. We got back from up north earlier this week, so today is actually Friday, the day I'm recording, the day that I'm actually releasing this video. I could have done a podcast, but here we are. I'm going to do the month end because it needs doing. And yeah, I'm here. Here we are. It's rather warm here in the UK. I'm sure you're hearing this left, right and centre, but at this point in time, now is the best time for me to film. And I did pick the worst top. Rob's actually in bed, so I couldn't go rummaging for too much. I just grabbed the nearest thing and this was it. But it's a bit hot. So fingers crossed I am not going to turn into a sweaty mess by the end of this video, but we shall see what happens. Right, I'm going to jump in and I'm going to start with the finished objects for the month of June. So I actually had 3 for both, to be honest. So the first item that I finished in the month of June was, of course, Gnicole. Here she is a beautiful, I love this wibbly beard. This is one of the gnomes by Sarah Shearer out of her Gnomes of Grimblewood book, and I really enjoyed this one actually. Got beautiful cable work, hat, I think it's fantastic, and the beard, as I say, the beard, it's all about the beard, it's amazing. So I will definitely be making another one of this. Got a lovely tassel on the top, really good fun, loved this one. So that was object number 1, finished object number 1. Finished object number 2, I did grab it, but here it is. So finished object number 2 were these, my first ever pair of shorts. I'll bring that back a bit, there we go. These are the basic A-shape shorts by Spectacle Streak, and I really enjoyed the process of making these. They were such a joy that I do want to make another pair. I don't have a photo of me in them, I'll just show you the reverse. I don't have a photo of me in them because I kind of wanted to get a photo of the shorts with the top, which I'm currently working on. I haven't finished it yet, but I am working on it. But I really enjoyed making these. The yarn I used was by Drops. It was Drops Bell, which is a mixture of linen, viscose and cotton, I believe. But I really, really, as I say, really enjoyed them. There's this construction on the waist whereby you create a channel and you insert a piece of elastic for the waistband, which was really fun. I did go away from the pattern a little bit because I did the waistband in reverse. So this was supposed to be the right side, but it is my inside. But as you can see, I think you can see it there, you can see the elastic kind of through my stitches there. And I just decided that I would prefer to have what should have been the inside of the waistband on the outside, so it does create this ridge because that's the cast on edge. However, I just felt that it covered the elastic a little bit better, that's why I did that. But as I say, I really enjoyed the process of these. They were so much fun. Don't know what I've done there, but they were so much fun. Oh, that's an increase, isn't it? Yeah, a weird increase that I've done, but anyway. Basic A-shape shorts by Spectacle Streak. As I say, I'm working on the top as we speak, and hopefully when I've done that I can put them on and show you, because at the minute I just kind of throw them on when I'm around the house, and that is that. I do intend to make another pair of those though, because as I say, I did really enjoy making them, but I want to make the next size up as well, because those are form hugging and I'd like a bit looser pair, so that's what I've done. Right, the final item that I finished in the month of June, I don't have to physically show you, unfortunately, because silly me, I didn't film any footage of it before sending it in the post. So I do have my version here, just so that you've got a visual representation of the item. So I finished a Dotty Cardigan by All About Amy. This is mine, as I say. The yarn I use is Stylecraft Special Chunky. and the colourway that I used, not this one, the colourway that I used on the one that I finished in June was called Parchment. So yeah, that should give you an indication of what colour the yarn was. But yes, this is the Dotty Cardigan by All About Amy, and it is so much fun to make. As I say, this is my version in a lovely green, and I will be making myself a version in the colour Parchment. But yeah, really enjoyed making it because I made this one years ago, but I got it off to my friend, when was it? I got it in the post on Wednesday, and then she actually received it yesterday, which was Thursday, so it got to us so fast. She loves it, she's really happy, and she's really looking forward to the cooler weather so she can actually wear her version. But yes, just thought it'd be nice to give you a little visual representation. Mine has been worn so much, I love it. So yeah, that's all finished and it's gone. It's left the house, which Rob is happy about, because obviously the more I can finish and the more I can get out the house, the less is in the house. It's the thinking there. So yes, those were the 3 items that I finished in the month of June. Now that brings us on to July. I'm just checking, I am missing one from July as well, but I did catch a video so I can put that in. The first one that I finished in the month of July. Now, July I did Christmas or Vlogmas in July, and my goal for Vlogmas in July was just to work on those Christmassy festive makes, or gifts, if you will. Now, I don't know, you may or may not remember, if you watch Vlogmas in July, you will know this, that I am working on gnomes. These gnomes by Sarah Shearer, I'm working on these for gifts for family and friends for this year. My target number is something like 23. I don't think I'm going to make that number, if I am being completely honest with you. So I'm going to have to rethink a couple of things, but I did hammer out a couple more gnomes. So I did finish this one. This is another of my favourite gnomes. I love the shape of this gnome. It's wonderful, plus it has this lovely colourwork here. So this is Gnatlia, and as I say, I just love the shape of this gnome. I love the hat, I love the little feet, it's just fantastic. It's beautiful, beautiful gnome. So that is Gnatlia, and again another little tassel there, and I finished her in July. So that was another gnome done. And then I also finished this one. This one is, oh, it's all right, I've had a message. Again, you'd think I would turn it off. Anyway, this is Gnolan, and this one is another one that I finished in the month of July. So here he is. I love him because he's got this curly beard. There we go, there's his beard. Curly beard and his curly hat. I think it's grand. This one I didn't enjoy the process of making quite as much as I've enjoyed the others. So I can't see myself, I think it is because it's a long body, so it feels like I'm making a pair of socks, and socks take me way longer than they take other people for some reason. I don't know why they take me so long, but it just felt like I was knitting socks, and for me that process wasn't as enjoyable because I just wanted a bit more in terms of the shaping, like with this little fella. It's got some fantastic shaping going on, and although this gnome had a really, really long hat, my interest was held because of those cables on the hat. So yeah, I don't know why Gnolan, I struggled doing Gnolan. Well, I didn't struggle, it just took me ages because I just didn't want to keep picking it up and knitting in the round. But there is shaping in there, the body does come out, but the final gnome is stunning. It's gorgeous. So there is Gnolan. I forgot to say that all the yarn I've been using for the gnomes is by Botanical Yarn. I bought loads of mystery mini skein bags that Sophie was doing at one point in time. I think she still does them every so often, but I bought loads of them essentially. So I've got a big bag full of minis that I'm using to make the gnomes. So stash busting project, plus it's going to be a lovely gift. So I know who this one's going to. I know who it's going to. It's wonderful. So the final finished object that I made in the month of July, I don't physically have on me because basically the day after I finished it, she was gifted. But I did make her during Vlogmas in July, and that is of course the lovely Anne Frank. I realise I'm probably leaning the wrong way, but it's the lovely Anne Frank by Carla Mitrani, and I love making Carla Mitrani's dolls. They are so much fun to make. They're beautiful. They are just a really lovely design. And I can always see Carla's designs because of the way she constructs them. And it's just fantastic. I really enjoyed it. So the lovely Anne Frank, I think the video probably has ended now, so I'll move across. The lovely Anne Frank I made for my mum, and I gave her Anne Frank when she came to visit the Wednesday. I can't remember which Wednesday, but when I went over to her house before we went up north, she's got pride of place on the mantelpiece, so that filled me with joy. They have 3 that I've made for them now. So I've made Anne Frank for mum. I've made I was about to say Anne Hathaway then. It's not Anne Hathaway. It is... How have I forgotten? Oh my goodness, I've forgotten. Oh no. Oh, this is awful. But I made Amelia Earhart for my dad. He loves Amelia Earhart. And oh my goodness. How can I forget this name? This is awful. Oh, hang on. Honestly, I'm blaming the heat. I made Audrey Hepburn. So I've made Audrey Hepburn. In fact, I'll show you the back. This is book number 1, so Crochet Iconic Women by Carla Mitrani, book number 1, and I have made, I can see them, Amelia Earhart, in fact they're next to each other, Amelia Earhart and, yeah, that way, Audrey Hepburn, made Audrey Hepburn. I have made another one from this book, have I? Yes, I've made Florence Nightingale for my aunt. I love these books, they are brilliant. But yes, I made Anne Frank for mum. Right, so that is everything. But before I get on to everything else, I just want to show you the gnomes I finished. All together. Oh no, Nolan, what are you doing? Let's turn you around. There we go. There we go. I think I've got an affinity for purple. But aren't they looking grand? They look so, so good. I'm really, really happy with them. And yeah, love that wibbly beard. So that's grand. That was 3 done in 2 months. I'm not going to make it, am I? I've got to really, really focus on these gnomes if I want to do the amount that I want to do. Right, so that now brings us to work in progress numbers. So as I've said before, I'm just going to breeze over these, and I realise that, sorry, I'm just looking for something to sit on because I'm sticking to the floor. It's not ideal, but I realise I haven't done a whip parade for a little while. I was doing it quarterly and I should have done one in June or July, but because obviously Vlogmas in July, it just kind of threw the usual schedule off, and because of what happened in July, well, the latter end of June, start of July, things have been a bit all over the place, so getting back on schedule has been quite difficult, and it wasn't going to happen in July. So I think the next one is due end of September, start of October. So I will leave it till then, unless you really, really want a whip parade. Let me know in the comments below if you would like a whip parade, or are you happy to wait until September? I'm more than happy to do a whip parade. So if you do want one, let me know. So I'm just going to let you know the numbers right now. So at the end of May, I had 13 works in progress, and then at the end of July that had gone up to 15 works in progress. I did cast on, I know I've finished 6 items, but 2 of them, well, 3 of them were the gnomes, so they don't really count because there's a new gnome on the needles, so that's kind of taken over that one. So technically there were what? Oh, Anne Frank was cast on and finished in July, and then I had a Dotty Cardigan and the shorts. So what have I cast on since then? I've cast on the Belladon sweater. I've actually cast on 2 pairs of socks as well, so I'm not entirely sure where my maths is coming from here, but apparently that's what I've done. I feel like I'm missing something, but I don't know what. Interesting. Yeah, because I've definitely cast on 3 new things, and there's not 3 finishes here. Interesting. I don't think I've frogged anything either, so maybe I do need to do a whip parade. Let me know, as I say, in the comments below if you want to see a whip parade before September. Well, I say September, the start of October. Right, that brings us on to my scrappy or long-term works in progress. And I only have 3 to show you today because I've only really worked on 3. I have done a little bit of work on my mitered square blanket, but it's not enough. It's not significant enough for me to go and grab it and bring it down. So we'll save that one until next month. hopefully I'll do more work on it. But we're going to start with this one in this bag, and that is the lovely, oh my gosh, it's going to take me a while, bear with. I don't think I've done a lot on this either, actually, to be fair, but I'm hoping with getting it out, it will encourage me to actually do some work on it. Have I done any? Not a lot. It's really not worth showing, but I'm going to show you anyway because I love it. And it's been 2 months since you've last seen it, and I am in a tangle. I think you know what's coming because I've probably flashed it a lot. There we go. All right, that is the gorgeous Sweet Shop Blanket by Laura Penrose, and I've said this a lot. I love this pattern. It's a joy to make, and I think half the reason I'm not reaching for most of these patterns or projects is because they are big, heavy and warm to work on. But I really need to get this finished, to be honest, because it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. The amount of work I've done on it is, as I say, not a lot. So I think I might put this on the table today and try and encourage myself. But there is the marker. So all I've done is work on one square, and I haven't even finished that square. So I don't know why I decided today was a good day to show you. Never mind. This is, of course, the project that I feel I am well known for now because of the state of the ends. Although there's quite a few sewn in now, so I think I've been behaving myself. Maybe I should sit down and sew in some ends today. Yeah, there you go. There they are. Whoops. Right, yes, so maybe I should sew in some ends. That'd be a good call. Although, yeah, I do want to do some sewing as well. Oh, so many things to do in so little time. I've lost the needle, which I need to keep tabs on because I don't want to drop the stitches. There we go. But yeah, no, I really love this project. It is really good fun to make. I am using fingering weight held double. Let's hide the ends. I'm using fingering weight held double, and the variegated yarn is by the lovely Attic Spin Dye, and it was their Beatrix Potter subscription club. They do some really beautiful yarns in their subscriptions, so I do highly recommend checking them out. But yes, this was the Beatrix Potter. There's Jemima Puddle Duck. I think this was Tom Kitten. Yeah, I always have trouble remembering. Where's Peter? There he is. Peter Rabbit. Lovely. So, as I say, loving this pattern, loving this project. It's wonderful. Fingering weight held double. The neutral yarn is basically undyed skeins of yarn. I'm using, as I said, fingering weight held double, and it is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon on both bases. I wanted to keep the bases the same so that I knew the washing would be the same. But yeah, I really enjoy it. It is a really, really fun project. But as I say, I thought I'd done more, but clearly not. So this is going to be sitting out, waiting for me to put in a bit more. I am over halfway on it now. It's pretty big, but I wanted it to be the biggest size possible, and I think I have to do 99 squares, but I couldn't tell you how many squares I've done because it's all on my tablet and I didn't prepare clearly. So next month I will be more prepared. Next month I intend to show you more progress, and I intend to have better information for you basically. As I say, it's still kind of early. I'm a bit tired. And it's very hot. But enough with the excuses. That is the beautiful Sweet Shop Blanket by Laura Penrose. If you're after a scrappy project, it's a great one, but obviously I would say the only thing you would need if you wanted to do the two-tone squares, you would need a lot of the other colour. You could make a smaller size blanket, and you could even do solid colour as the square, or you could even do 2 different variegateds. You could just use your scraps to make the squares and have a scrappy one. But I wanted it to look like this, and I wanted to showcase each of the colours, give them their moments, because they are beautiful, and it's going to be my reading blanket for when the weather's cooler. That's the plan. Oh, I am looking forward to it. But yes, there we are. Sweet Shop Blanket by Laura Penrose. Whoa. Yeah, it's a bit big to manoeuvre. I think that's the issue. Not that it's an issue, of course. Right, the next one is the lovely Book Snake. So this is a pattern by Hannah Lee. I will tag her Instagram below as well, because it was Hannah's Instagram that really got me inspired to do this. And then she released the pattern, which I've since bought, but I am sort of winging it with this one because I didn't have the pattern when I cast on, if I remember correctly. I think that's right. But there he is, there's his little face. I haven't put the tongue on yet, but he is pretty much there. And essentially the way it works is you read your books and you allocate colours to the books, whether it be genre. I know one of you did say that you were going to do one and you were going to do it based on rating, so star rating. You could do it, I don't know, based on the author's name, maybe, whatever parameter you feel. But there is mine, and where did I get to? I think I got to here. So I've read 3 books since you've last seen it, and they are, here's my card with all my colours, so those are my genres, and then I've added all the colours next to it so I know which colour I need to do. I also added the body just so that I knew what I was doing. The yarn is all leftovers from these chickens. Looks quite cute there in the jungle, little chicken. They're all paint box yarns, wool blend, worsted, and various different shades. But as I say, I have written on there the different shades, so I know what I'm doing. Hopefully I don't need any more yarn. That's not the idea of a scrap busting product, but here it is. I'm loving it. And as I say, 3 books. So I have read 2 fiction and one thriller crime novel. Right, okay, I've got the books. Goodness me. So the books that I read were these. There you are. Those were the books I read, and just briefly touch upon them. The first one I read was Happiness by Aminata Fauna. As you can see, it was from the Shelter Box Book Club, which Rob's lovely mum got me for Christmas, and I've been really enjoying it. This book, I expected something different from it, especially from reading the back, but it was still good. I really enjoyed it, and was this the one? It had some interesting ideas, basically, but I wanted it to delve a bit further into some of the other characters, which sadly it didn't. And I don't know whether because I was expecting that and I didn't get that, that's why I'm perhaps being a bit harsher on it than I should be, because it was a good book. I did enjoy it. And yeah, that was the first book, Happiness by Aminata Fauna. The next one was this one. I found this on my shelf and I don't know where it's come from. I don't know if it's something that I saw loads of really good reviews for and thought, oh, I'll buy that, it's on sale or something like that, or whether it was a gift. So I do apologise if this was a gift. I do apologise. I can't remember where it came from, but it is Wayward by Amelia Hart, and it was interesting. It was interesting. I don't know if I'd give it a 5 stars, if I'm honest, because it was quite predictable in places. It's been a while since I've read it, so it's hard for me to kind of delve. The same with Happiness, unfortunately. Both of these, it's been a while since I've read them. But it was an interesting idea, and towards the end you were kind of rooting for them straight the way through. It's basically about 3 ladies based in different periods of time and kind of their misfortunes, I suppose. It's kind of the best way I can put it, really. It does delve with some quite difficult topics, so I would say caution on this one. If, you know, yeah, just caution. I can't really tell you what the caution is, but caution, caution advised. But no, I did enjoy it. I don't know what it is. I think when you expect, like when I read Tomorrow, everybody was raving about it and saying how amazing a book it was. By the time I read it, it just fell a bit flat. And I was really disappointed, but I don't know whether it would have been different had I not read all the reviews, the raving reviews about the book, as to whether it would hit a bit different. I don't know. So I think caution to me is just look at the star rating and then leave it at that. Don't read the reviews. Because I don't read reviews with a spoiler, but everyone was saying how you need to read Tomorrow and how life-changing it is. And it fell so flat on me, and I was gutted because I expected so much and I wanted so much from that book, and it just wasn't there for me, which I really am sad about, because clearly people are getting something amazing from that book. And the same with this, a lot of people were raving about it. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the read, I did, but I don't know whether I expected more because I read reviews. That's what I'm trying to say. But no, it is a good book. It wasn't, yeah, it was good. Wayward by Amelia Hart. The final book that I read was this. It was Linwood Barclay, The Accident. Classic Linwood Barclay. You all know I love a Linwood Barclay book. This was not the best. I feel like I'm being an awful critic right now. It's good, don't get me wrong. It's nice to have a bit of action there, but there was a lot of action. Everything that happened, it was like you met someone new and then you knew something terrible was going to happen. It was like, I've had enough of the action, can we slow it down a bit? But really good. If you really like action packed, this is your one. I'm trying to think in terms of, I mean, it's a typical thriller, you know, thriller crime book. It's really good, but it's not No Time for Goodbye, which is this one here. That is by far my favourite Linwood Barclay book. If you're going to read a Linwood Barclay book, read No Time for Goodbye. But then I suppose it differs because I like a slow burner. No Time for Goodbye was a really intriguing ride, and The Accident is just full on. So it depends what you'd like. Do you like a slow burner or do you like full on? If so, this is your one. It was good. I've got to say, the last line, was it the last line? Oh my God, no, I can't read it. The last paragraph in this book broke my heart. It hit hard. So yeah, good book. Anyway, that's enough. This is not a book review channel. So I just thought I'd briefly touch upon the books that I've read and show you the progress on the book Snake. So as I say, that was 2 non-fiction and 1 thriller. Is that right? God, I forgot my own thing now. Yeah, 2, sorry, no, fiction. Oh my God, do you know what? Losing my mind today. 2 fiction books and a thriller. Now I am actually reading a non-fiction book. That's what I was thinking of. Really intriguing book. It's called Islands of Abandonment, and it's basically about places where humans have been and abandoned and what happens after, and how nature kind of reclaims things. Really interesting book. But anyway, that's for another day. And that's the book Snake. Sorry, I'm just flashing things. That's the book Snake. Right, let me move those out the way. Right, the final scrappy long-term work in progress that I have to show you is my lovely Hexie Blanket. And I've actually reached a point on this Hexie Blanket. Now I cast this on during Vlogmas in July because I really wanted to use some yarn that I've got in my stash, and I figured this would be a fantastic pattern for the yarn and books boxes that I've been getting from Beehive Yarns. So there we are, Beehive Yarns, yarn and books. And I got the advent calendar and I came with a sock set, so I've used that in here, but then the rest of it has all been from the yarn and books boxes that I've been getting. And I may as well just crack on. Here it is. Oh, there we go. That is, oh, there you go, the state of my Hexie Blanket so far. I have been loving this project so much, and I think all of these yarns look fantastic in this blanket. I think it's brilliant. So I've got the Secret Garden here, so I got the variegated yarn, and then 2 20-gram minis, just to give you an idea of how the blanket's working. In the middle here, I think it's this one. This was Alice in Wonderland. That was the variegated 100-gram skein, and then the 2 20-gram mini socks. So you can get 20 grams in here. Each of the hexes is about 13-14 grams, I think, if I remember off the top of my head. I am doing them slightly differently. I haven't even told you what the pattern is. Goodness me. It is the Summer Fade Hexie by, oh my goodness, I've completely forgot. Who is it by? Oh, that's terrible. I've completely forgot. I will put the name here, the name of the pattern and the name of the designer here on screen so that you can see it, because I feel awful that I've forgotten. And I will obviously have in the description anyway the link to the pattern. So it's the Summer Fade Hexie Blanket, and basically the Summer Fade Hexie Blanket ends a row sooner, around sooner, but I'm using Natalie from Knitty Natty. I'm using her notes from her 50 States blanket that she made, and I'm making the hexes just a little bit bigger because I think it just helps with using more of the yarn, which is grand, and plus it means the blanket's going to grow a lot bigger, a lot quicker, which is good. So that's what I'm doing. I'm also using the join as you go method, and I think it looks brilliant. It looks good on the back as well. It looks really tidy and neat on the back, so they don't look like they've been joined, but I really like the front. I really like this crisscrossing look. I think it's fantastic. So yeah, really happy that I'm doing that because that lowers the amount of ends. As you can see, there are some ends, there aren't that many because I am crocheting over ends on the back, and that's helping a lot. So I'm really pleased with it. But sadly, I've used all of the boxes now, all of the colours that I have. So I've just finished putting Pride and Prejudice in, which are these three here. So the variegated one and then the 220 grams. So I've just finished putting those in, and I'm out because Pride and Prejudice was the last one. So hopefully we will see the teaser for the next box. That is, if Beth is still doing them. And I can then, as soon as I get that, I can then wind it up straight away and put it into the project, because that is what I'd love to do. I'd love to get yarn in the mail and then, or however I get the yarn, wind it up and use it immediately, rather than having it sit around for ages. Don't get me wrong, I'm always going to have a stash, but that's my goal anyway. But that is the Hexie Blanket, and I love it. It is a joy, absolute joy. Right, okay, what does that bring us on to? That brings us on to plans. I do have a couple of plans. A couple of them are just really basic plans. Let me grab this. So for example, I have the Gnomes of Grimblewood book. I would like to continue making gnomes as best I can. I do have one on the needle at the minute. It is Noddy. And then I will be making, where are you? Here you are. I'll be making Gnarly after that. And then I have Nectar to do as well. And then I've done all of the gnomes in the book, and then I'm going to start repeating them until I've got enough, is the plan. But we'll see how we get on with that. So those are the gnomes. I've also put here that I want to get more projects finished. Yes, that would be ideal. Really would. But in terms of casting on, I do have a couple of plans for casting on. Not many, I'm trying to behave, but I do have a couple. So the first one is I would really like to cast on this. Let me show you the proper picture. There we go. This, which is the Souffle Top by Laura Penrose. I really would like to cast this on. I do have the yarn, it's all here. And it is Lang Yarns lace. And it is a mix of 58% mohair, 42% silk, and it's in the colourway 9920072. I'm not entirely sure what that is, but it's blue and it's really nice. So I would really like to cast that on and hopefully get that done. I don't know if it would be a summer top. I think it would be more a autumn top. So it would be nice to get that cast on and hopefully underway for autumn, really, because we're getting there, hopefully, fingers crossed. Not today, but hopefully soon. The next one that I'd like to cast on, I do have the yarn for this. It's upstairs and I've left it upstairs because Rob is sleeping. So I'd really like to cast this on. Can you see that okay? I think you can. So this is the Vintage Moon sweater. It is beautiful. And let me see if I can show you. These are just sizes so I can show you a bit better. It's got a really lovely turtleneck. Now I think a lot of you know that I don't really like things up round my neck, but it's quite a loose, looks quite loose, so I think I'll be all right with it. But I think it's lovely, and I love a long sweater. I love long sleeves. I love a long sweater, so I think that's going to be really, really nice. I've got grey for this, so again, I think I'm going to be quite happy with that. It looks quite, oh yeah, it's a bulky. I hope I got bulky. Oh my gosh, I can't remember what I got now. But anyway, that I would really like to cast on as well because I just love it. And crochet doesn't take quite so long to make up. Let me pop that in there, which is always grand. But I do need to check the yarn that I've bought because I don't think the yarn that I bought is the right yarn. And if it's not, then I'll have to think of something else to do. But I really would like that. Sorry, I didn't tell you. It is out of Modern Crochet Sweaters by Gnatlia Gnome. I have almost made a sweater out of this, but I ran out of yarn. And it's the lovely Sacred Woods sweater. I'm making it in blue. It's really lovely. It's basically done. I just need to do the neckband, but I've run out of yarn, and they've been out of stock of that particular colour of yarn for so long that it's just been sat there waiting for me. So I have bought some more yarn. It's a different colour, but yeah, I'm going to go with it. I'm going to see what happens. But yeah, that is the Vintage Moon sweater by Gnatlia Gnome. I would very much like to cast that on. The final plan that I have is in here. Oh, and it involves a lot of yarn. And my plan is, I think, hang on. I'm not going to go through all the yarn because it's been, it's quite a lot of yarn. But you have seen this in Vlogmas in July, but I would like to make a Hexie cardigan. I'm going to make it very subtle, very pale, because I have a lot of pale yarns, for example, a lot of pale yarns that could do with being used. There we go. So I've got a lot of options, but I just need to figure out the construction and figure out how much yarn I'm going to need as to how many skeins of yarn I'm going to actually put into this sweater. But I'm quite excited about it because in my head it's going to work out really quick because I'm going to hold fingering weight double, and I think it's just going to be really cosy and perfect for throwing on when I'm sitting and working at a computer in the colder months. That's my hope for it anyway. But yes, so those are all my plans. Kind of immediate plans, I suppose. I'd like to perhaps do some in August, but I'm going to see how I get on with my works in progress. I feel like they take priority right now, but the gnomes at least, I would like to at least finish the one I'm working on and cast on the next one, at least. Preferably 2, but we'll see how we get on. I think that covers everything actually. How are we doing? We're doing okay time-wise, so that's good. Right, I am going to leave that there. Let me know what plans you've got for the next month or the latter part of the year. Do you knit seasonally? I don't, but I wish I did, because I think that would be quite useful if I did. I think I've tried it this year actually. I started the shorts and the top, the linen viscose top and short set. I started that before the height of summer, I think. Did I? I think I did. With the intention of wearing it in summer. But yeah, I suppose I could finish the top and then they'll be ready. The shorts are ready, you've just seen them. And then I have casted on a sweater, it's over there, for the winter period. So I'm kind of getting that way, but I can see the benefits of doing it, but I'm just such a chaotic knitter. It's ridiculous. I just cast on and then do whatever I fancy that day. So there you have it. Right, I am going to leave that there because I am just going to end up waffling, and I could do with a cup of tea because I'm really, really sleepy right now. So thank you so much for watching. As always, it really does mean the absolute world to me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. Hope you have a fantastic weekend as well, whatever you've got planned. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video.